Jake wasn't supposed to be in the forest that day. He had only wandered a little off the trail, just far enough that the crunch of dry leaves under his boots was the only sound left. No birds. No wind. No signs of life. Just silence and the cold press of trees too old to remember names. That's when he saw it. Nestled between the roots of a rotting oak, half covered in moss and dirt, was something pale and round. About the size of a melon, smooth as porcelain and slightly warm to the touch. An egg. Not a bird's egg, this was bigger. Heavier. It had strange gray veins running under its shell, pulsing faintly like it had a heartbeat of its own. He should have left it there. Should have walked away. But curiosity always had a price. Jake wrapped it in his hoodie, took it home, and placed it in an old fish tank lined with blankets and a heating lamp. He thought maybe it was some rare reptile, maybe even valuable. He didn't tell anyone. By the second night, the egg began to move. Not gently. It jerked, thudded, and shuddered against the glass like something inside was dreaming of violence. Jake barely slept. By the third day, cracks appeared, thin lines at first, then growing deeper, darker, almost as if they bled ink instead of yolk. Then, at 3:33 a.m., it hatched. The sound of the shell splitting woke him. The heat lamp flickered. The room turned icy. From the center of the egg, something black and wet crawled out. It wasn't a bird. It wasn't a lizard. It was wrong. Limbs too long, slick skin that shimmered like oil in the dark. No eyes, just folds where a face should be, and a mouth that opened sideways, stretching wider than it should, filled with rows of short, chattering teeth. Jake froze as it looked at him, not with sight, but with knowing. Like it had already been inside his dreams. Like it had always known him. He backed away, but the creature didn't follow. It simply tilted its head, made a soft clicking sound, and vanished into the shadows beneath his bed. He didn't sleep after that. Over the next few days, he tried everything. Animal control, a vet, even a priest. No one believed him. He couldn't prove it. Every time he tried to capture it on video, the footage came out warped. Black static, screeching audio, his own voice whispering things he didn't remember saying. Then the death started. First, his cat was found shredded on the porch. Bones twisted like rubber. Then the neighbors complained about scratching behind their walls. Something crawling through vents. Something talking in their children's voices at night. Jake knew what was happening. The creature was growing. Fed on fear. And it had chosen him as its door. One night, he woke to find muddy footprints. Bare, but clawed. Leading from his bed to the kitchen. His fridge was empty. Meat torn apart. Raw eggs smashed on the counter, like it was mocking him. He grabbed a knife, turned every light on in the house, and stood in the center of his living room, heart pounding like a war drum. Then he heard it. From behind him. A whisper, not in words, but in meaning, pressed into his brain like ice water. "You brought me here?" Jake spun, slashing wildly. But there was nothing. Just cold air and the smell of soil. The lights flickered. The shadows moved. And in that instant, he understood. The egg hadn't fallen into his path by accident. It had chosen him. The next morning, Jake was gone. His front door wide open. His fish tank shattered. The heating lamp melted to slag. All they found were claw marks in the ceiling and dozens of tiny white eggs nestled beneath the floorboards, pulsing softly, waiting to hatch. If you ever find an egg in the forest, don't touch it. It isn't lost. It's looking for someone. And it might just be you.